questions, but I thank the chairman for giving me the extra time.
Thank you, Senator Kennedy. Senator Hirono.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to acknowledge the fact that President Biden has nominated some of the most diverse nominees, highly qualified nominees to all of our courts, and diversity and inclusion is really critical. And I see, at least in two of our nominees this morning, that they are not far from the immigrant experience, which I think is a very critical part of inclusion and diversity on our courts. And again, as the only immigrant serving in the U.S. Senate, I think I have many life experiences that are common to our two nominees. And to all of our nominees, thank you very much for your willingness to continue public service. I'd say that when we ask questions such as the import of Plessy, Dred Scott, Korematsu, these are decisions that are fine examples of how the Supreme Court gets it really, really wrong. And I would say some of the court's decisions now will fit into that category, and it may not take that long for history to make that judgment. I asked the following two initial questions to ascertain the fitness to serve of every nominee who comes before any of my committees that I sit on. So I will ask each of you those two questions, and we'll start with Judge Ali Khan. Since you became a legal adult, have you ever made unwanted requests for sexual favors or committed any verbal or physical harassment or assault of a sexual nature?
No, Senator.
No, Senator.
No, Senator.
No, Senator.
Have you ever faced discipline or entered into a settlement relating to this kind of conduct?
No, Senator.
No, Senator.
No, Senator.
No, Senator.
Judge Oliver, I really appreciate the fact that you talk with students about citizenship. I think that is something that we, all of us, should be focusing on, especially, and talking about, especially as I believe that the ability for people to vote, which is a basic and fundamental right of citizenship and responsibility, I believe there are too many states that are really limiting our right to vote. So thank you very much for taking the time to talk to our young people and encourage them to be aware of public service. So in your Responsibility Committee on Judicial Ethics, why are judicial ethics and judicial integrity important to our justice system?
Thank you for the question, Senator. I think the short answer is when the people are aware that the judges whom they come before are governed by a rule of ethics, they have more faith that the judges police themselves, and that when there's a situation where a judge's impartiality might reasonably be questioned, that judge would step aside. So it restores and continues, bless you, Senator, restores and continues faith in the criminal justice system by the litigants who come before us.
Thank you. I completely agree with you. Judge Ali Khan, you have spent thousands of hours on pro bono work. Can you just tell us why the pro bono work has been so important to you?
Thank you, Senator. There are so many litigants in this country that don't have the benefit of representation. Obviously, we have enshrined a right to counsel in criminal cases, but there are many civil cases, collateral proceedings, where there's not a constitutional or statutory right to counsel. And I think as lawyers, we owe an ethical duty to our legal community to represent those that cannot afford representation, both because it, I think, helps advance the interests of those individual litigants, but it also serves the court. I have been fortunate to be appointed by both the Third Circuit and the Sixth Circuit to handle cases where they felt that the use of counsel would be helpful.
Thank you. Judge DeClercq, the fact that you have a very unique background, to say the least, has being an immigrant been one of the reasons that you wanted to become a lawyer? And does it inform the how you approach decision-making as a judge?
Yes, I'm very proud of being an immigrant. It is a more unusual immigrant experience in that I was brought to the United States as an infant and adopted by my family. But I've always been very aware of how different my life would have been had that not happened, and the incredible opportunities that this country has given to me. And so I've spent most of my professional career in public service. I deeply appreciate not only the country, but the government, which was why I joined the Department of Justice. And for me, it's always been about equality and justice, and I think that that is part of the immigrant experience.
Yes. I think you are another example of immigrants coming to this country to create a better life, but the appreciation we have for a country that afforded us opportunities we never would have otherwise had. I just want to mention, Mr. Chairman, for Judge Munley, it must be an incredibly meaningful experience for you to be sitting here to be on the court that your father served.
Thank you, Senator. It truly is an honor. He taught me about what it is to be a good judge. He served as such an example to me of what it means about judicial temperament, and I consider that one of the most important attributes for a judge.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Hirono.